With great covet, we invite Diane, Aharon, Dovid, Donna to be Messiah Shas.
I need the Gemara. It's very hard off by heart to do all this. There's a Gemara. Bring some Gemara. Kann ich ein Gemara? Kann ich ein Gemara doen? I need a Gemara. That's soft neither, no? Again, first Rosh and nach dem Museum. All right. Change the Seder. Birshus. Now, who do we take Rishus from? It's a problem. Birshus. I would like to take Rishus from all those whom Yes Hashem going to be born. We find in Chazal many times they talk about the unborn children, schusim that they will bring to the world. I'll take Rishus in Yes Hashem from those who are going to be born because of tonight, and we will not be able to prove it. I'm pleased you're all cupping because no one can have tainas. I've left anyone out. Baruch Hashem, we're safe to take rishus from them, and we will prove or explain Mirz Hashem al pi teva. This evening should bring along a lot of results. I like to live down here in this world. I remember many years ago I was in the yeshiva, and a bird flew into the Beis Medrash. And it started going in and out, and we tried to drive the bird out, went out this window, came in the other window, came back inside. And all of a sudden the Bachman says, wow, this is a Gilgul. And it's coming for this reason or that reason. And they went to the Rosh Yeshiva. Thank you. They said, Rebbe, what's for a Gilgul it is? I'll say it first in Yiddish. And the Rosh Yeshiva said, Efshe, it's a Vogel. We said, it's a bird. What's all the noise about? I'm living down in this world, and you'll see B'siyata Dishmaya, what you've done tonight has such koiches to bring results. If you would only know it, you'd have danced a lot longer. It's a multi-sided evening. You've learned, there's Torah, you've explained medically, you've told history. I'd like to go briefly, bit by bit, just to show where we're up to and what we can all take home, and that will bring results. Let's start from the beginning. We have here a Shas learned today. A Shas learned today in my little language is an Odom Godoil. Reb Chaim Kanievsky, I remember many years ago, like this year, Erev Pesach was on Shabbos, and he made a siyum on Thursday of Kol HaTorah Kuloi. And if you remember the halachas, on Friday you have to make a second siyum. And he'd learned everything already. What can you make a new siyum on? And the next day, he made a siyum on Masechta Baba Basra. And slowly but surely, there was times when on and on and on. We've got here the whole of Shas learned in one day. I will call you all one Odom Godel. And if an Odom Godel gives a brocha, Tyreen, it's worth something. You're all here, we'll join in together, we'll all kick a broch together. Here we are. And what are we doing? We've shown something that we didn't know beforehand. In Rambam steht, the Rambam says, Kishetzorin al ir, if you want to surround a town, to capture the town, because they are enemies, ein makifin oiso ba'arba rucheiseho. Don't surround it, all four sides, elo misholish, only on three sides. Umanichin mokoim livroyach. Allow the enemy to escape. Ulemi sheroitzel himolet al nafshoy. Someone wants to run away from you, let him go. Shenema, and the Rambam brings a posuk. This is a very funny advice for someone who's trying to capture a town and capture all the people. You want to capture him? Make sure he runs away. I remember in Cheder, many years ago, there was a Rebbe who was annoyed with one of the boys, correctly so. And he chased the boy to give him petch, if you know what that word means. And the boy started running away. So the Rebbe said, hey, I'm chasing to you. So he says, yes, the Rambam says you should run away. Thank you very much. This is the Rambam's advice. If someone's chasing you, run away. What's it supposed to mean? In Posuk state that Yankov Avinu turned up in Chorn, and when Rochel turned up, shet vayigash Yankov vayogel esoeven me'al pi ha'be'er. No one was strong enough, not two, not three, not four. And Yankov Avinu himself took the stone, rolled it away. So Rashi Melamed comes to tell you that Yankov Avinu giboyer hoyu was a very strong man. Anyone who's learned a little bit of Chazal know that Chazal tell us, Torah mateshes koicho shel odom. When you learn, and you learn heavily with great hasmoda and great diligence, you become a weak person. And you learn Chumash. Yankov Avinu says, Vayishkav b'mokem hahu. Before he arrived in Choron, he only slept a little. All the 14 years in Shem Ve'eva, he hardly slept. He learned diligently. What does it mean? Yankov was strong. After so much learning, you're strong? And they all say the same pshat. Strength by Ben Torah has nothing to do with muscle, with arms, with exercise, with gym, nothing to do with that. You remember the piyutim we say, Yichad leiv v'golal even mipi ha'be'er. When Yankov Avinu arrived there, he yichad leiv. You don't push with your heart. If a person has a rotzoin tarev, a will, a strong willpower, he has completely different koiches to himself. None of us know how much koiches a person has. We in England, I don't know here, there's a game called football. I think they call it here soccer. But you can't play as well as we do. We have great experts in pool. And if ever you watched a game, which you shouldn't do, you will see the players chasing and chasing a ball back and forward as they get it, they kick away, an hour or two, on and on and on and on and on, no rest. And someone said, call one of these players, put him with the Medrash, and tell him to sit over Gemara for half an hour. He'd fall asleep long before that. He's got no koyach. No koyach? You got koyach to run an hour or two. Why have you got no koyach to sit and learn? Take the other way around. Take a yeshiva bocher who learns the whole of Thursday night. He's awake, full of life, full of energy. Put him on the football pitch. He's tired in 10 minutes. How does this work? The Torah says energy has got to do with willpower. You want something, there's different energy. I remember I was in Yerushalayim once, many years ago, and I saw someone chasing a cat. There are many cats in Yerushalayim, as you know. And the cat came to a corner and couldn't run away. All of a sudden, the cat turned around and jumped on the person, absolutely attack. The same cat a minute ago was running away. But when you're caught, you've got no option. You have to get out of this. You've got new energy. I don't know if it's correct to say, but in history we learned there was a guy called Julius Caesar, the Roman emperor, who came to England to conquer the land. He arrived in Southampton, that's where the seashore is, and he was climbing up the mountains. And he says to his soldiers, just look around and see what's happening. All the ships were being burnt. And he said to his soldiers, there's nowhere you can go back. There's no ships there. You better go and conquer England, otherwise you're gone. Hachareidim. The Rambam is telling you that if you are put in a tight corner, you have got completely different koiches. Don't give the enemy a chance to use all his koiches. Make sure that they don't feel that they're hemmed in, then you will win them. Teure gute Freund, today we have proven this Rambam. Without looking at anyone, without being personal, how many people learn a blatt, 10 blatt on Sunday afternoon? How many people sit and learn noch and noch and noch and noch? But you've all done it today. Because you have set the time aside. I must do it. I have to do it. Chonish Kembrera. You didn't know yourself you had those koiches. We've all got gewaltige koiches, and I'll come back to those koiches soon. But point number 2, there's a Torah called Torah's Chesed. The Gemara and Chazal and the Psukim, there's learning, and there's Torah with Chesed. Says the Gemara. What's the difference between Torah's Chesed? Says the Gemara in Soito. Torah's Chesed is Torah Lishmo, says the Shloah Kodesh, Torah that I do to help someone else. He brings many, many rayas that the meaning Lishmo in that Gemara is, I'm going to help someone else learning. Also steht in Shloah Kodesh in Rabbi Yehuda. If a person learns Torah, besides the mitzvah of Talmud Torah, the tachlis is to help someone else, it's a completely different Torah. Says the Gemara, where do I see it? Says the Gemara, Rav and Shmuel were both Amoraim. Rav and Shmuel were Eineklach, descendants of Eli Cohen, who had a certain, can't say the word, klola, but against him. Rav learned Torah, not Shel Chesed. He only lived to 40 years old. Shmuel learned Torah Shel Chesed. He learned Torah Shel Chesed, and therefore he lived, sorry, wrong expression, Abaye v'Rova, I mixed them up. Abaye v'Rova. Rova learned Torah, ordinary Torah. And Abaye learned Torah Shel Chesed. He lived a lot longer. Says the Gemara, Torah Shel Chesed brings life into the world. Today is not only Torah, we've learned Torah with a personal reason behind it, something extra. Rabbi Leib Steinman says, since when is something cheshiver than Torah? And he begins a moshel. Person's got a kilo of bosa, flesh, and you've got a kilo of water. Bosa is worth a lot more. Fleisch is worth more, but I can't cook the flesh without the water. I need the water to help develop the bosa. Torah is gewaltig, was wir lernt, Hachareidim. Torah shel chesed, which ignites the Torah to do something special that we've never had before. This is the Torah shel chesed. So today we had the Torah and the Torah shel chesed. Introduction. And now we're coming around. We go for brochas. Some of us go to Rebbes, to Tzadikim, Rosh Yeshivas, ältere Menschen, whatever you like. We go there for a brocha. I want to anoint a new Rebbe. There's a Rebbe called the A-Time Rebbe. The title? A-Time Rebbe means there's a koyach in this organization to give brochas, to help people, and that has got a din of a brocha. And let me explain. The word brocha is not only when you say gebenched. Many people came around before, give me a brocha. You do a pa'ula for someone, is a moedike brocha. The Belzer Rebbe, Adamomi Belz Rabban, in the Rebbeische world was known as someone very special. A Chussid comes home on a Friday night, and his wife says to him, get out. Excuse me, I hope they're not listening over there. Get out. What have I done? Get out. I don't need you anymore. Get. My good wife, what have I done? Look here, it's about time we divorced. What have I done? She probably had some bad apple or something. We'll wait till tomorrow. Gets up in the morning, comes home from shul. Aren't you out yet? What have I done? Shalashudis, what have I done? Versteht nicht. Goes to the Rebbe, the Belzer Rebbe, in the weekday says, Rebbe, I'm a good husband. What does she want of me? Were you at the Tish Friday night? Yeah. Did you get Shiraim? Yeah. You took from me Shiraim? No. Who'd you take Shiraim from? Him. Oy vey. Oy vey. Come next Friday night again. Comes next Friday night, and the Rebbe sends him Shiraim, and he comes home. Hello, my darling husband. So nice to see you. Please come inside. What can I do for you? Such a one. Rebbe, she was tutzel though. Tell him what's going on. So he goes to this Chussid who gave him last week's Shiraim. He said, was tutzel though. Last week, your Shiraim, and this week, the Rebbe Shiraim. Oy vey. Oy vey. My wife needed a get, and she wouldn't take one. I went to the Rebbe and I said, Rebbe, she won't take a get, help me. And the Rebbe gave him Shiraim, and in that Shiraim he put a koyach for a get, and I gave you that Shiraim. And that's what happened. This week the Rebbe put back a Sholem Bayis one, and Borchen Atzutzis. This is a genuine, interessante, true story. Habe ich auch gelernt von them. You can get a brocha when someone gives you a brocha. You can get a brocha, you do a good pa'ula for someone, the brocha is there. So here we are, A-Time Rebbe, I'm addressing you. Bringing children into this world, says the Gemara in Soita, and we've just learned it in Chumash. A little girl called Miriam was 5 years old. Went to her father, the Godel Hador. The Godel Hador, her father, and says to him, Amram, my father, you've divorced my mother because you're scared that Paroi might throw the boys in the water. But you're worse than Paroi. Paroi only stopped boys living, and you're stopping girls living as well. And we all know Amram listened to this little daughter. It looks like she was quite right. He should have children, could be a boy, could be a girl, he could lose them. And we're told one thing, there's nothing better than to bring children into this world. This is what the Rebbeinu Shalom wants. And if it was a little young Miriam, albeit a Neviah, who convinced the Godel Hador and has given the message, L'doire doires, that whoever can help to bring children into this world, the schus is moiredik. They've got tremendous siyata d'shmaya, And it's tremendous rotzen labori is borshmoy. Now, we are aware there are several ways to help Binyonim. There's chusim. I know a person. It's hard to go into detail. I do know him. There were many years without children. And when it was a night of Tefillah, him and her said the whole of Tehillim mitchila vatzov between them. And the next day, Baruch Hashem, it worked. I know of a case where someone went to a doctor a week after he got married. And he said, I haven't got any children. The doctor says, excuse me, how long are you married? 1 week. You want to buy it in the shop? What do you want? This is a true story. He said, I got engaged, and after I was engaged, the Caliph found out that there's something wrong with her and she can't have children. Can't have children? And in my Midas Toivas, I decided there's no way I'm going to push her away. I'll work it with the Rabbi in a different way. So I waited till I'm married, and now I'm coming to a doctor. Can you help me? Without going into detail, they went to Rabbi Kanievsky. Rabbi had gesagt, someone who gave away his whole teva in order, Brias, the Kovet Abrias, the Rebbein Shomel gave away his teva, the Kovet Abrias. So far, they've got 3 children. Children, zu werden geboren. There is such a thing as chusim. Now let me say something. I'll try and explain it clearly. A wichtige Yediyah. The Rebbeinu Shloim is good to everyone. He does only what's good for us. He can't do better for us. The Yidden came out of Mitzrayim. They went across the Yam Suf. All the Mitzrayim were drowned. Steht in Chaim HaKodesh. Moedeke Wort. I'll give an introduction. It wasn't me, but my chavrusa was going for a walk in the street in London. And as he was walking through the street, a dog barked, bow, wow, wow. And he saw with his own eyes, there was a Teire Chassidish Yid, grown up. As the dog barked, the Yid went like this, went to the wall, and bent himself down. This Yid had been in the camps, and whenever a dog barked, this is what they had to do. He said, I saw it with my own eyes. He was already 20 years out of the camps, and the dog barked. And this Yid, I saw him. All of a sudden, he goes to the wall, lifts up his hand, and bows down. So the Chaim HaKodesh, when the Yidden crossed the Yam Suf, and the Mitzrayim were drowned, but the trauma is still there. The Rebbe did a special toiva. He took them out of the Yam Suf as they were dying. And they saw these people dying. The trauma is taken away. It's a chesed from the Rebbe Shloim. Not enough he's killed them all. Not enough he's got all their geld. Not enough they're free. Not enough all the food. Let's make sure there's no trauma left. The Rebbe Shloim, we cannot be masig. The Torah that the Rebbe does to him. We don't understand. Some years back, if you remember the bomb that was done in Mumbai, it's a long story, but the kitsch of the bomb is that there was the Rebbe's son was there, and they couldn't identify him. And Rav Yoshev told the wife of this person, until this man is identified, don't ever let him be buried, otherwise you can never get married. And they brought him back to Yerushalayim. They couldn't recognize him at all. The Gemara said, in Yevomas, after a certain time you can't have. What do I do? You need a simon. So she gave her, I know he's got a wart here, nothing helped. Then she remembered, you know what? 10 years ago, he fell down and he broke his feet and he was in hospital for some time. There must be a record of the hospital in the hospital, of the record of the x-ray. They found the X-ray. They matched it to his foot. It was a good simon, he was buried. End of story. What am I telling you? What a tragedy when the poor fellow fell down. 2, 3, 4 weeks out of work. What a chesed from the Ribbono Shel Olam. For many years later, this man can be buried. Do we know what tragedy means? Do we know it is or isn't in our favor? All we do know, the Ribbono Shel Olam only does good for us. So sometimes he wants our tehillim, sometimes he wants our chesed. I can tell you another time, story after story, about people who did tremendous chesed, and the doctor said they can't have children, and they got it. But then we've got a Rebbe, and the Rebbe is called A-Time. Yes, the Ribbono Shel Olam sent this Rebbe at a time when things were going difficult. The world was changing, and refuahs were changing, and they sent this wonderful Rebbe called A-Time. And we will add something very special. Yes, they've got the right staff, they've got the right doctors, they've got the right medicine, but let me add something, which I know, I've seen, and I saw again today. Moshe Rabbeinu, when it came to journeying, Moshe Rabbeinu told Klal Yisrael, had a discussion with the Ribbono Shel Olam for 7 days. Moshe Rabbeinu, I want you to go. And Moshe, I can't go. In the end, steht Ribbono Shel Olam Vayicha'af, after 7 days. So Chazal, what happened after 7 days? The Ribbono Shel Olam said, go to Aharon, your brother. He said, I'm going to Aharon, my brother. And I said, no, you must go. And he said, I can't go in front of Aharon because Aharon won't be happy with me. And the Ribbono Shel Olam said, you're wrong. You can't be masig, even if Aharon is pushed down. The simcha, the simcha he has for you outweighs everything. Hachareidim, these A-Time people who've been themselves through the hard time, while they had the hard time, the simcha they had to help others pushed us all through. A person themselves has got difficulty, but nevertheless, let me use my koyach to help others, to encourage others, to go with others. This is gewaldig, this is unbeatable. Got an organization here, and all those who've come today, and I watched a little bit, people who came for a broch and I see they haven't got, they sit and they learn besimcha, that there are other people that need their help, surpasses everything. And now a little message, if I'm allowed to say it, and don't throw tomatoes at me, but I want to say something. I'm not looking at anyone. The Pasuk tells us, Vayasa Moshe drove the people away from the Yam Suf. So in Chazal, why did they drive them away? Because there was so much money there. It's time to go. Friend of the Kasha, what's wrong to take a bit more money? What's wrong? Says the Chaim HaKodesh, you might not like this language, but the Chaim HaKodesh says, no, Moshe Rabbeinu didn't want them to take so much money. The Loshen of Chazal is, too much money that a person has is a stira to becoming Kabbalas HaTorah. I want to add something. I know a lot of people, saying, who have got a lot of money. And I'm telling you, Moshe Rabbeinu will be happy from them. Because someone, it's an Isoyan, but someone who has it and decides in his good nature, I want to help someone else who's in this desperate need. You cannot be masig what a mile that is. That's not what the Torah means. He won't be a ben Torah. The chokhmah of having a bank account. I was by Rav Yoshev more than once. When he was asked by Ashirim, am I allowed to give more than a chomesh? Am I allowed to give so much? And the answer was always, he asked them, what have you got in today's climate? Yes, you are. And I understand, Baruch Hashem, we have, Baruch Hashem, a lovely crowd here. Everyone does what they can. but someone who comes along and says, in his own language, I would like to take one family from beginning to end until they have the child, das ist ein gewaltiger Chesed. And whoever does that gets a brocha from all of us together, and we will add it there. And we need, without going into details on other things, I remember we had cases when a certain Oisha said there was a certain thing needed. I will take the whole lot, is mine. I don't want any shutfas in the doima. Shutfas is also something, but we're talking about with the no shutfas. I'm sure this will bring to this person himself endless about the siyata d'ishmaya, him and the kind in the Einiklas. Because no one has guarantees at all. We have no chazokas at all. I use the expression always. I used to go, when I was in Koidel, I used to collect for my Koidel at the time, and I remember going to a big Oisha. Every year he gave me a huge amount. And one year I came to him, he was an Englishman. I said, what's happened this year? It's only a quarter. I can still hear him saying, Rabbi, no chazokas. And I use it 100 times. None of us have chazokas. The Rebbeinu Shem gives accordingly. And someone who undertakes, I can tell you so many wonderful stories. Someone undertakes himself, this family is mine, this case is mine, mitchila v'atzof, eine doime was the Rebbeinu Shem can pay him back. So let's review a little bit what we say before I say the Hachareidim. Let's review where we're up to. We've worked and we explained people have gewaltige koich for learning. We've worked and explained what it means Torah shel chesed. And I want to add something. The word Torah's chesed is written for ladies, but Torah's chesed al leshoina. Torah ladies, you don't know what chelek you have. When your husband comes home late at night, he's been working all day. He's been working all day. He's tired. And so are you tired. You looked after all the children. You've cooked. You've done the shopping. And he comes home and he rushes his supper sometimes. He says, ich hab a kvies, ich hab a shia. This goes endless amount, whether it's Sunday, whether it's other days. And you say, give halavai, halavai, halavai. I'm not saying that he should never be at home at all. I'm not telling you that. But this attitude that I am a chelek, I'm aware that Reb Chaim Kanievsky, I remember when the Rebbetzin was nifter, Teire Rebbetzin, Rabbi Yoshev's daughter, and Rabbi Yosef said, ich habe ihr zugesagt, I promised her, mechzo al mechzo harf, und ich habe nicht gecharota, got no regrets. You don't realize that, no, you don't open the Gemara, you're not learning a Shver Rambam, but your chelek is unimaginable how it is, endless amount, and keep up this good work and be mechazik others at the same time. You don't lose at all. It might take energy. It's a gewaldig. So we've got to Torahs. So let me finish off Lamaisa now. We have a wonderful evening. It says Gehoiben, you know, I'm going to come home. I hope I'll do what I'm saying now. You've learned that you can be makabel extra things. It's probably the right thing. When you come home tonight, don't let it drop. There's a brocha, as we said, from Odom Godel. You've all got brochas today from Odom Godel, and he read them out so beautifully, in that lovely, the way we sang them all. We've all got a brocha, we should be able to steigen Torah. Don't let's waste it. This summer in Bnei Barak, there were two couples. One lived in Bnei Barak and one lived in Yerushalayim. They could not afford to go on holiday anyway. So they agreed amongst themselves, I'll go to Yerushalayim to your house, you come to Bnei Barak, my house, there'll be a holiday. Whilst in Bnei Barak, the Yerushalayim person, his daughter became a color. And he wanted to make a lovely evening for the color, but he needs permission. He's only there just to live with his family. Can I use your house, your flat, for visitors? So he rang up the owner who was now in Yerushalayim. Do you mind if I make a simcha here tonight? I must think about it. I'll let you know soon. He rings up 5 minutes later. No, you can't. I'll clean it. I'll be careful. I'll make sure that I don't. No, you can't. Posepes, I'll explain to you. I've also got a daughter who needs to become a color. And I went to the Rebbe this week, and the Rebbe said to me, the Rebbe shall helfen, you should make simchas in your house. Und ich habe moira that if you make your simcha, my brocha is gone. And we brought many rayas, it's too long for now, another time, that this attitude is right. I'll bring you just one raya. The Gemara says that Rav Huna turned up one day to Rav, and his belt was made from grass. And the Rebbe says to him, you can't afford a belt? And he says, I can afford a belt, but I had no wine for Kiddush this week, and I sold my belt, and therefore I've only got grass. And Rav said to him, I give you a brocha, you should be covered in silk, which meant you should become an oisha. Shortly afterwards, he married his son, and after the chuppah, he lay down on the bed, and his children didn't realize he was there. They had silk coats, and they put it on top of him while they went to dance. Says the Bach, the brocha of Rav went on this. You can get a lovely brocha, but if the words of the brocha fits into something less, that brocha will be chal there. Teire b'yidendo. We've all got wonderful brochas. I read it and I listened to it. Brocha you should steigen lernen. Brocha you should do chesed. Brocha for aid time. Brocha to help do chesed. It's worth our while when we come home tonight. It's a waldige gehoben. It's wonderful here. And I feel myself, it's gehoben. Don't know if I'm roy to speak to you wonderful people. So you dance and you think, today and the next few days, live on with it. You've got a brocha, don't let it be wasted. We've been told you can use your brocha for learning. Don't tomorrow the same as yesterday, it's gone. You've got a brocha, you've got koiches, use it a bit extra. You can do chesed, use it a bit extra. You can give some stocker towards this wonderful thing, give it a little extra, take something on. You've got the brocha, you can help someone. Now is the time to make sure to bring it into fruition. Und der Rebbe shall helfen, when you get a brocha and you use it immediately, not to waste it at all. It should be chal there and then. Der Rebbe shall uns alle helfen. We know we're going through hard times. We're not forgetting about Eretz Yisrael, their hard times. We know that tefillah helps at the same time. I can only tell you one little story of a Londoner. There was a Londoner who was on the plane a few weeks ago. The Londoner was on the plane, and as sometimes happened on the plane, they were stuck between two ladies, and he was upset, and he made a fuss, and they didn't listen to him. And the lady from the other side came across and said, I will give you my place over there. You do me a favor. My child is one of the hostages. You daven for my child, and I give you my place. It's a wonderful story. They agreed. He davened for the child, and very shortly afterwards, the child came out. Tefillah is a gewaltige koyach. If we all use it when we come home tonight, it's a nice meal, true, because a nice singing too. Remember, it's like an Ne'ilah. We're now like a Yom Kippur. We sang the whole thing. It's like an Ina. If we makabel something extra, the Rebbe will help us. The Rebbe, we ask the Rebbe, Oyer Chodosh al Tzion Toyer, v'nis kecholonu, b'heira la'oyer, b'bias goyel tzedek, b'heira v'yameinu, amen v'amen. Right. And now, this is it. Let's finish. You all should film in this. I think I learned the least. I'm a bit ashamed of this, but a bit I did learn. We learned the last few lines. This is the way you make a siyum. You're all shutfim. You're all big bala simcha. Hachareidim, don't waste tonight. You're big bala simcha. You're an odom godel between all of us all. Let's behave accordingly, and let's all together finish this wonderful shas. Omalei Reb Shmaya le Reb Abba. There was a question of noshim who see dam. When they see dam, there are two types of tumor. One's called zova and one's called nida. So the Gemara says it depends when they see it. Emer biyomoma, perhaps by day is one thing, and by leil is another thing. So the Gemara says no. Allah Omakro, the Pasuk says, Al nidoso, somach nidoso, somach nidoso, emes belayla. The Gemara tells us clearly which dam is and which dam isn't. Everything by us is done al pi Torah. Don't come along and say, the doctor says it's this dam. It's nothing to do with the doctor at all. It's got to do with Torah. There's a koyach HaTorah that tells us what to say. And the Masechta finishes off. Tono de bei Eliyahu, kol hashoyne haloches b'chol yoim. If you learn haloches every day, muftach lo shehu ben olam habo. You are ben olam habo. What does ben olam habo mean? Everyone has a chelik for olam habo. There's a future life. Rabbi said nothing is lost. The Belzer Rebbe after the war, they came to the Belzer Rebbe, people zerbrochen auf Sticker. I lost my family, I lost everything. What's going to be with me? And the Belzer said in Heintige Parsha state, Oz Yoshe Moshe. Moshe will sing, Mikan le Trias Hamesim in Torah. There will be Trias Hamesim. What's it got to do with the Shira? Why now Trias Hamesim? Says the Belzer Rebbe, the world isn't Hefker. Perhaps you lost someone now, you'll get it all back one day. There's nothing ever taken away for you. There's a Rabbi Shloim who looks after each one at the right time. We all ben olam habo, and as we said before, to all those who are here, some takes longer, some takes shorter, some aren't sure at the end. It's all only for our good. We don't understand it. The arbeit now is, Rabbi Shloim, I want to agree that what you do to me is the right thing. If for whatever reason it's one way, I'll help someone else, I'll do simcha to someone else, I must smile. We all have to go away tonight and we're smiling because we are the Rebbeinu Shalom's people. And that's what we finish up. Muftach lushu ben olam habo shenema halichas olam loi atichas halichas el haloches. We work according to the Torah, according to haloches. We're with the Rebbeinu Shalom and we've got someone to protect us at